we just have a good rhythm together, you know. Like, he sort of feels me out, I feel him out, and we go for it.
Hello and welcome to episode 37 of the worst idea of all time. Season 4, Sex and the City 1, 37 watch. You do the math.
I'm going to refuse to do the math. Yeah, the numbers add up. Look. What can you say? Tim, we're sitting next to each other. Mm-hmm. It was nice.
No, it wasn't. You don't have to lie to me.
No, it was.
You're trying to spare my feelings.
We weren't super focused.
And you don't have to.
But by and large, it was nice having you there.
By and large, it was nice having you there. What an insincere sentiment.
That's sincere. It's just loaded with qualifiers. If I'd said, that was great, I really enjoyed myself, that would be insincere.
I see.
What I said was truthful, euphemistic perhaps, sure, but honest. It's nicer when it's nicer when you're there.
What is there left for us here, you know?
Well, at the very least 15 more screenings.
It seems a lot. It seems like a lot of time.
Do you feel like we've broken the back of it?
Well, by the numbers we have, but it's around here. Well, we always say this, but it's around here that things get really, really difficult.
Do you know what this feels like? This feels like when you're fighting the boss in a video game, or say even like in anything.
You know, at the office when you are scrapping with your manager.
The most recent example,
Derek,
I have is when you're in Dungeons and Dragons, when you're playing this this massive beast and you get a good hit on it and you're like, that should sort it out.
Roll a natural 20.
Oh yeah, and then it takes a glancing hit and it just keeps attacking and you're like, no,
hold on.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, where it's like, I know statistically we've done the bulk of the legwork, but to look at the film,
you don't feel that, though.
It looks unblemished. It's like, oh my God, what else? It's a fembot from Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Why won't you die?
He gets them in the end, though, and I think this movie will defeat us. Well, I guess they get him because Vanessa turned out to be a fembot the whole time.
We will defeat it.
We're Austin Powers in this analogy, and that feels very strange.
We are dinged up, you know. Like,
can I ask you a question? Do I make you horny?
You do make me horny, Tim. I tried to nuzzle into you during this watch. I leant over the two chairs and I grabbed your arm and I leant my head on your arm, and you did not like it.
I didn't.
Why not?
Because this movie agitates me.
Was I agitating you?
I don't know. It's in the maelstrom of hate for this film, isn't it?
I thought
we're inside of it.
I thought that a sense of camaraderie or affection, physical intimacy, would endear ourselves to one another, and perhaps the movie to us as a unit. But
and again,
it drove us all further apart.
You write it down on paper, you do the math, what you're saying makes sense, and yet, I wasn't having it. Whose phone's going off?
I think that's mine.
It is you. What's happening?
Oh, my mum's calling me.
Oh, okay. What are you going to do about that?
I'm just going to let it go.
That's the worst of all available actions. You hang up on it, you could take it, whatever it takes to get the vibrating to stop.
It's gone.
Fantastic. This movie's got me riled up.
She was calling me up to say, I love you, boy.
I love you, boy. But what are you doing with Carrie?
No, I think... Do you know that my parents have just written this whole thing off?
In what way?
It's like, yeah... They don't carry the way. They're no longer bothered to be confused or frustrated.
It'd be like if you came out as gay now in Utah. They're like, this is not great, but we'll kind of love him anyway.
Is that what's happening in Utah?
I don't know. I don't actually know how Mormons feel about same-sex relationships and homosexuals. Not sure.
That's why this movie's got you in such fits that you're throwing out analogous examples you have no baseline of information on.
None.
But that's good. That means you're running your mouth. That means you're in a reckless position.
Oh, okay.
Let's use this.
Okay.
What do you think about same-sex relationships?
I'm pro all relationships.
All of them.
Animals are supposed to get together. I mean, humans are. We are animals that are supposed to get together.
Are you condoning bestiality?
No. No, I'm not.
You're on a
condoning
desert
it.
island.
Mhm.
You form an emotional bond with a dolphin who is circling the island, your only companion.
Dolphins are an interesting
You
one.
develop some form of communication whereby you can't articulate exactly how you're feeling, but you can communicate positive and negative energy.
Yep.
They know if you're having a good
Energy,
day or a
okay.
bad day. You can wade into the water, and when they swim past, you can, like, you know, stroke them, touch them. You form some sense of physical intimacy. One day, a hug in the ocean lasts half a beat longer than you thought it might. The dolphin sort of sidles on up to you and pecks you with its bottlenose in a way you hadn't experienced before.
Uh-huh.
What's your move? You've been there for 2 years.
Probably not going to have sex with a dolphin.
For 2 years.
It was beautiful storytelling. I want to indulge you, but I've just... It's hard to put yourself in the mindset of someone who's been on an island by themselves for 2 years.
You have there's no promise of ever leaving this island. You will die here.
Yeah, I just don't think having sex with a dolphin is like a... It's like saying, I'm thirsty, I need water, so I'm going to, fucking smack myself in the face with a coconut. It's like the two things don't match up.
Yeah, I kind of understand what you're saying. If you don't return the kiss, this dolphin will be emotionally wounded.
That's okay.
And leave.
I'm all right with emotionally wounding a dolphin.
It'll just be you.
Versus trying to engage in what I'm assuming at this point, if I'm interpreting a nuzzle from a dolphin as a kiss, I think I've probably lost my mind. Yeah. And I would not want to give my own brain the benefit of the doubt that I'm correctly reading the romantic signals from a porpoise.
You're not... I don't know if it's a... Is that what, it's a mammal, isn't it? But you're not as far
What
out.
are porpoises? I thought they were like
They're different
dolphins.
animals.
Are they?
You're not as far out there as I thought right now. I think I brought you back.
Would you fuck a dolphin, Guy?
Porpoise are a group of fully aquatic marine mammals, all of which are classified under the family I can't say that. Toothed whales. There are 7 extant species of porpoise. They're small-toothed whales, and they are very closely related to oceanic dolphins.
Oh, but they're not dolphins.
They look similar, though.
Guy Montgomery, would you fuck that dolphin? Da 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 da.
For the sake of...
No. Throw your qualifier out the window.
I was going to say, for the sake of my own horniness, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
Fucking ride or die, this dolphin, man.
I don't think
Stand behind it.
I don't think I would. Had you answered differently, would I have answered differently?
If I created an unsafe space for you to out yourself as a dolphin fucker,
yes.
If you were on a desert island for 2 years by yourself.
Look.
All right. Well, let's go down.
The sands of time will play tricks on a man, Tim, the likes of which we cannot know.
Exactly. And I can't put myself in the mindset of myself as a lonely of 2 years person on a desert island. You would get really messed up in the head, though, if you didn't see anyone for 2 years. You get fucking freaky.
I can barely go a day.
We're not built for it. We are not built for it.
Some people are.
I reckon you could go long.
I think you and Rufus, your beloved dog, if you didn't see anyone but you and Rufus wound up spending a year, it was just the two of you.
I'm going to fuck my dog?
No.
Is that where you're going with this?
No. I was going to say, I think I reckon you'd still be tethered to reality. You would be mentally sound by the end of the year.
You have some sort of companionship. That's like what Castaway's about, right? He just imbues the volleyball.
I've not seen it.
It's, I was going to say a good movie.
Do you know fuck the volleyball?
He doesn't. He does not.
Do you see him masturbate at all in that movie?
No. It's not that kind of movie, Guy.
Do you think he would?
It's Tom Hanks, the man's beloved. He's not going to throw away his career just for a bit of realism. Needless realism that doesn't add to the story.
It's not addressed.
Him masturbating? No. No, the storyteller, and I can't remember who wrote and or directed the film, didn't think that was an important part of the narrative. What is important is that they made the movie about a third more than it needed to be. Should have just been roll credits when he leaves the island.
Written by William Broyles Jr., directed by the great Robert Zemeckis.
Cool.
Back to the Future fame.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Now, Sex and the City, let me pick your brain. What was your favourite moment from this film?
Well, funny you should say that, actually. Do you know, it's interesting, one of the few things that are keeping me engaged is that the sort of oscillations in my relationship to Miranda, who I reckon is holding pretty steady in her opinion of me, but I mean, and I would never say this to her face, I cannot get a read on her lately. And this week, after like quite a few outings of not really getting along, I was sort of found her to be quite good company. Am I saying Charlotte? I meant Miranda.
I felt Miranda. I didn't even know what you were saying.
Yeah, I meant Miranda. Of course you do. And so
he just kissed me, by the way. That's what that pause was.
My favourite moment was... This isn't even my shining light. This was just a favourite moment. Was the scene between Miranda and Carrie. It doubles as an ad for Pret a Manger. When Miranda she's recently had to do some listening and self-reflection and, you know, take responsibility for some of the shortcomings in her relationship with Steve. Not out loud, you know, but much like Tom Hanks in the popular Robert Zemeckis movie from 2000, Castaway, it is suggested that he's been masturbating and she's been thinking. And
that's also a famous Willie Nelson song.
He's been masturbating, she's been thinking.
Yeah. One of his all-time greats.
And she's talking to Carrie about it, and she says, you know, and Carrie, for maybe the first time I've seen, is actually offering advice and, you know, valuable insight into someone else's life. She's asking questions. She's listening to answers. She's genuinely engaged in a conversation in a way that we do not see very often. We certainly don't see represented when the group are hanging out as a foursome. And Miranda, in turn, is listening and responding, and it's a genuine display of humanity. Like, it's one of the few times that the way a conversation, when, you know, like the way that a semi-decent conversation functions, and it's not like a particularly engrossing conversation, but just the fact that it resembles anything that might happen in someone's day-to-day life. To me, I was like, this is incredible, and I respected both characters in that moment for it. And that is supported by what was my actual shining light, which was earlier in the film when they're doing the fashion parade in Carrie's old walk-in wardrobe. And I hate to measure it against another woman, but that is sort of what we're trapped in by reviewing this movie. Charlotte's performance always bothers me because it feels to me like Kristen Davis has... I don't know if it's a character decision or an acting decision, but... Charlotte's got one face where she sort of draws her cheeks in and puckers it, like, and pouts and puckers. And she's got fantastic cheekbones, sure, but it's like she always defers back to this look. And I'm always like, just any variety. And Cynthia Nixon in her performance as Miranda makes big, bold risks. She commits. She does one as like a tiger. She does one where she does a funny face and she waggles her fingers like she's telling someone off. And there's a real joy in that. It's really nice to see... commitment to the performance in a movie that it doesn't feel like everyone commits the same. Like, it does, the level of commitment in acting varies from, you know, actor to actor, scene to scene. Like, it's not even
watch to watch,
yeah, it's not even handed. And she really brought it to this scene. It was a joy to watch, confident performing. It was just great. She showed range. And I think the same when I'm watching anything. I like seeing. It's what if you've ever done an acting class, or even when you're learning to do comedy and you get advice, it's like you have to really commit. Like, you're going to look a lot more stupid if you half-ass it than if you just fully commit. And to me, Miranda fully committed in that scene, and Charlotte didn't.
Hearing you talk about the movie like this, with this much earnest, real film critique, it's like watching someone trying to build watchmakers,
people who make watches,
yeah, and they have the little monocle that magnifies stuff by like hundreds of times so they can see the little cogs, and they've got their very delicate little tweezers because they're dealing with so many tiny moving parts that click together. It's like watching you trying to build a watch from Play-Doh.
Do I have the technical ability to get a watch made if given the right materials?
I think you probably do, but you have Play-Doh right now.
But what you're watching is...
But you're bringing the laser focus required to deal with steel-fashioned cogs.
Well, I mean,
a real pinnacle of human mechanical engineering, and you're using the medium of Play-Doh with those skills.
What do you think of my notes?
I agree with them, sure. And that's the end of the sentence.
Well, what did you like?
I liked Miranda's hair in one part of the movie. It is after her and Steve, I get. Oh no, it's when they are at the couples counselling session. She's got great hair.
You do like
shine a light on that hair because it is my shining light.
Shine a light and shine a light.
Now, I brought to your attention a moment that you hadn't noticed before, and this is a rarity when you get into the late 30s, folks. Something I've noticed for, literally dozens of watches. I noticed it real early on. I see it every time. It's the scene where Lily picks up the cell phone. It's the night before the wedding, that all-gal sleepover. Get some sleep, groomie. Shout out Charlotte. And Carrie's phone rings. Lily picks it up and she says sex to answer the phone, which is, I think, a brilliant way to start phone calls, and I might start opening my telephone conversations thusly. Sex. But if you look closely, don't look at Lily. They want you to look at Lily. The man is directing your attention toward Lily. What you want to be looking at...
Mark Zuckerberg wants you to watch Lily.
You want to be watching Carrie Bradshaw. Because Carrie Bradshaw is coaching this young child actor, I think, into the line. And when Lily actually fucking nails it... Not Carrie Bradshaw, but Sarah Jessica Parker appears briefly on screen to look directly down the barrel of the camera as if to say, I did not expect her to nail it this good. And it was a take so good they had to put it in the movie, even though SJP stares at you.
It's a delight. She barrels the camera, and before that you see her saying, pick it up. You say something. And then she whispers as though she's about to say sex. But the performance starts then. She says sex, and Carrie, in disbelief, just barrels the camera, and the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme music plays. It's really great, and it is, honestly, it's nice to see, because otherwise, as always, scouring this movie for continuity errors.
There's only one we know of, right?
Yeah. In fact, I would describe the whole thing as a continuity area, because the continuity in this area, it's perfect.
The continuity era, which we have mentioned before, is, of course, when they're at the restaurant in Mexico and Charlotte orders a bottled water. She wipes the edge of the bottle before she takes a sip, so there's no Mexican germs on it, because she is a ignorant racist.
I think
and then we flash back to the bottle after that moment, and there is a cap on it.
She's wiping the part of the bottle that's under the cap with a tea towel that has been washed in Mexico. I mean, if her fear is true, she'd be best to just leave it.
Of course, but nothing she's doing makes any fucking sense.
Yeah, I feel bad.
She's also eating...
Kristen Davis was given a bunch of eggs to suck in this movie.
She's eating chocolate pudding 24/7 instead of rolling the dice on 5-star accommodation food. You know, what seems like a healthier, safer decision for stuff to put in your body.
And she pays the price for that.
She sure does, by shitting her pants, if you forgot.
I don't know how often this makes it to the mic, but Tim and I are constantly taking issue with the notion that Carrie Bradshaw is a professional writer, because we don't see her do a lot of writing. And this week, I figured out that the only evidence of her putting pen to paper or digits to digits... Does that work?
Sure.
Digits, fingers to digits.
That feels like a pinky in the brain kind of.
I was imagining
same thing
digits
we do
to keyboard.
Okay.
I don't know.
You put it together, folks.
Come on, guys. Come with me. Is at the very end in a voiceover. Like all the other voiceovers, I honestly don't understand, and I know you're not meant to overthink it, and we take this because it exists in the TV show, but I don't understand their relationship to whether or not they're, and I think in the TV show they were her articles maybe. But,
the narration?
Yeah, but in the movie it's just nonsense. It's just narrative device. It's lazy storytelling. And she's this weird omniscient narrator with nothing to actually add.
They're like different words.
They're the same. They got the same meaning, but they're different words. But yeah, it's interesting. It's such an interesting device to put into a movie, to have someone who sees everything but does nothing with the information.
It doesn't. It's hard to kind of figure out in a way. I guess
what's another movie that uses a narrator?
That one about the tax man who finds out he's writing his own life. or something.
Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah, nice one. Nice one, dude.
I guess if you haven't watched something 37 times, it's hard to compare it to something you have watched 37 times.
A lot of children's movies used to have narration because it was like a storybook.
I don't know how the use of it in Sex and the City measures up to the ordinary use of narration, but I know that it's starting to get on my nerves. But the only evidence that she's put anything down on paper is she's doing a reading at a bookstore
right at the end,
and she says, "This is all we hear from her." So this is the result of 2 years' work and the most romantically,
no way you've got this memorized,
interpersonally tumultuous part of her.
Are you going to try and do this?
2 years of what should be very prosperous, professional times.
There's a lot of fertile ground
as
for her to work with.
as it can be for some comedians. I think if life's going well, they find it hard to mine for source material. But if things go wrong, you've got a wealth of stuff to draw on. But she says, and as I put the wedding gown away, I couldn't help but wonder, why is it that we're willing to write our own vows, but not our own rules? Tim, if I gave you a $500,000 advance to write a book, and you went away for 2 years, got jilted at the aisle, wound up remarrying the same person who jilted you, and the return from that $500,000 2-year investment was, and as I put the wedding gown away, I couldn't help but wonder, why is it that we're willing to write our own vows, but not our own rules? I mean, I don't know what legal protocol in this situation is, but I would not be happy with that investment. What do you think?
I think you would be well within your rights to murder me and take the money back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Especially if you saw...
Put a silver bullet in my brain for this injustice.
If I saw your refurbished, redecorated home/home office.
Actually, do you know what? This is just the kind of situation that I would enjoy transpiring in real life, because you are taking the piss to such an extreme. You've become one of those unstoppable people, who just kind of go through life and things get flung at them and they're just completely unaffected by what other people's thoughts or feelings are.
Do you respect that?
It is impossible for me to be completely divorced from being impressed by that kind of mentality.
I understand.
I can't help but be a little bit impressed by it.
It seems, well within your wheelhouse to be impressed by someone. Is it like...
It's a funny character type, but it is a devastating real-life human being.
Yeah.
Funny in stories, bad in the world.
Yeah.
You can't go around thinking that your actions shouldn't be made divorced of thought from how it affects others. And yet some people operate like that, and it's impressive.
That's what sociopaths do, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's all in their best interests. There's a deficiency of...
Well, actually, I don't know what. It's a psychological term that I don't know the definition, the medical definition of sociopath.
I'm the same, but I feel like Carrie, if not a sociopath, does exist divorced from reality. She's got no... She seems
narcissistic.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least a bit.
And she's got no notion of empathy. One of those people, if they shine their light on you, you feel like the entire world is burning bright on you and you feel fantastic. And then when they turn their back on that...
I think that's a real hallmark of narcissism. It's kind of damaging people because they're often quite charismatic.
Yeah.
And they'll it's that old treat them mean, keep them keen thing where they'll be massive dicks to everyone 90% of the time and just drip feed that little 10% of nice out to keep you on the hook.
Do you think that they use the word charismatic at any point during the Sex and the City series?
Definitely.
It's irresistible, isn't it?
It's just sitting on the shelf for you folks. And they love a pun in this show. We know this about Mattress Pikelet. The TV series, I think, way more than the movies, it was lousy with puns. You couldn't get rid of them.
I was recently told that until the end of season 4, Sex and the City is and remains prestige television.
How recently did you hear this news?
Last weekend.
From a reliable source?
From Sex and the City fans.
That wasn't a yes or a no.
Reliable. Well, yeah.
So let's remove that they're fans of Sex and the City. Otherwise reliable source.
Yes, but why would we remove that? That seems to me like the most relevant piece of information.
Well, it's sort of self-defeating.
if they're fans. No, because
Hey, the new Marvel movie is really good. Who told you that? A fan of that movie. Okay.
No, not of that movie. You can be a fan of the Marvel franchise and say, I thought the last movie sucked. And I trust your fandom.
Okay.
Like,
So
they're discerning fans.
I see.
Who have enough separation from the franchise to say, yeah, these seasons were good. At this point, I lost interest and it became bad.
Oh, I see. How many seasons are there?
6.
My apologies to you, Guy.
Don't apologise to me. Apologise to the fans.
I apologise to the fans. Like that?
Yeah.
Is that how you do an apology?
Pitch perfect, my friend.
Let's check in with Steve, because we haven't in a couple of episodes, and I would love to know what's happening with him, that he has to make a clean getaway in one of those beautiful bumblebee yellow New York cabs.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't want to bother those people.
He sure doesn't.
And he sure looks dishevelled.
But he must.
Something's happened.
Yeah.
Why would you go to the people who least want to see you in your moment of greatest need?
He's lost his Bitcoin. He kept it on cold storage. He had it on a USB key. You know, he bought it ages ago when it was $18 a coin. And now he's got like 100 coins. He just bought them on a whim. It's worth like $500,000 now, but he's fucking lost the USB key.
They were just on like a little flash drive.
They're on a flash drive. And the irony is he put them on there because he didn't want to trust chucking them online because he thought someone might hack his account. But he's lost the fucking USB key.
What do you think, first of all, of the security measure of keeping your Bitcoin on a flash drive?
Yeah, brilliant. Do it. Everyone should do it. Everyone should be in Bitcoin. Our one libertarian listener will definitely back me on this. Leverage into Bitcoin, put it on a single USB drive. That's the way to live.
And so Steve has lost his.
He's lost it, and it's worth so much money now.
It's pretty much...
The bar isn't going well. I think it's important for you to know that also. In this moment, financially, like, he is in the hole, my guy. But he's basically won the lottery and lost his ticket.
Yeah.
So he's trying to figure out if anyone's seen. It's a very awkward situation.
The way he shares the information, does he say... Because we could wind up with a rat race type situation here. Does he say, hey... You guys haven't seen, so he obscures the information. He goes, hey, you guys haven't seen a 8 gigabyte black
Kingston
flash drive Kingston USB on a it's on a keyring with a lobster roll on it. You haven't seen that around, have you? Because I lost it and it's just got some important work stuff on it. Or to really motivate people to have to find it, does he say, hey, you haven't seen the same USB on the same keyring because it kind of has 100 Bitcoins on it. And I kind of need that.
You would definitely go with the former rather than the latter. You would not reveal the fact that there was a half
why does he look
so
concerned? Why would he turn to these people if all he's lost is a bit of work stuff?
Well, people's work stuff is all relative to them, isn't it? It's like they still like Steve. Your own shit's important to you. It has no value to them except for the value that it has to Steve. So what that does is
but these are not empathetic, like as established time and again, these are not characters who have a natural proclivity towards sympathizing and feeling and caring for others.
On the whole, you're correct, but I also think you are painting everyone with the Carrie Bradshaw brush. They're not all as bad as her. Charlotte,
can you
Miranda,
please grade? So I'm gonna do the main 4 and their partners.
Would that I could.
From least empathetic to most empathetic.
The least first, okay. The least.
So we're shouting down to the most empathetic character.
The least empathetic is Carrie Bradshaw and Senor Grande. All right? They're at the top or bottom of the list. I don't know what direction we're going in.
We're going down.
The least empathy, I guess we're at the top. We're in the penthouse apartment, which they also occupy. Next.
You don't have to bracket them as couples, by the way. Some people can.
Oh, just everyone, you mean? Yeah. Put them on runs.
Yeah, so it could be like, you know.
Here we go. Sitting in the penthouse apartment is Carrie Bradshaw. Just below her, it's Samantha Jones.
Ooh.
Below that, Senora Grande.
Okay.
Below that, Miranda.
Yep.
Then, now, here's where it gets interesting. It actually goes Smith. Okay. Then Steve. Is Charlotte in here yet?
Not yet. You've left Harry and Charlotte.
Harry and then Charlotte. I think Charlotte is the most affected by other people.
Wow.
I think I fucked up Charlotte, actually. I think I'd chuck her a little higher, but not too much. Apart from that, I stand by my weighting.
I kind of agree. And do you know for how annoying I find Charlotte, we can't take that away from her.
She cares about other people.
I mean,
she's the only person in this movie who feels real, like true emotion on behalf of someone. She is absolutely furious at Big in that scene when they get in their respective wedding cars, when Carrie struck her with the flowers.
You know, the way that the friends treat Miranda is really upsetting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Charlotte does extend some of her empathy towards Miranda in the Steve situation. But, you know, like... adultery within a pre-existing marriage, it's not on the same scale possibly of spectacle in terms of public humiliation as a jilting, but in terms
that's fucking interesting. I know it's not, I don't know, is it apples and oranges? How do you compare the two?
Well, I think in terms of emotional turmoil,
yeah,
they're on even footing.
I don't think so. I don't agree with that.
What's worse?
The jilting.
The jilting's worse than adultery.
I think so, yeah.
Why? Because of the spectacle element.
I think, yeah. Public humiliation is huge.
And so the fallout from that is great.
I think I've said this before, but it's always fascinated me. You know when you see someone fucking nail themselves on the pavement, and their first instinct is always to, like, they will put all of their bodily energy into looking normal as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
They could have a fucking broken bone. They could have just dislocated their shoulder, but their instinct won't be, oh my God, I better stop and check myself and like see what needs happened. It's to look around, see how many eyewitnesses there are, and quickly get yourself to like a darkened corner to assess yourself in private.
Make a decision.
It's fucking. It's a deep human thing, that public humiliation element.
Okay, well, so even with this information, even with the knowledge that the jilting maybe has, you know, more emotional fallout, relatively speaking, for Carrie than the adultery does for Miranda, the way in which the friends respond and rally around Carrie, who is by all accounts a selfish, self-centered person who does not have any dependence, versus how they respond to Miranda, who tells them all that her marriage, the person with whom she shares responsibility and custody of a child, a real person, it's like it's eons. Like the way they respond to Carrie, so they pour.
Definitely.
Towards, like absolutely. Miranda, the footing that Miranda has in the friendship, and the way that she is treated. She
is a dog. She is a rabid dog.
It almost means that she. No, I don't know if this is right. I don't know if I can say it, but almost deserves. If she doesn't have the fucking, you know, level of emotional insight to be like, hey, pull finger here, guys. I'm in a real fucking situation and you're my closest friends. I need you to support me right now.
I'm going to gloss over the fact that you are literally victim blaming right now inside of this devastating friendship circle. But, you know, you were right to say this is a thought I'm having that I don't think is right, but for the good of entertainment,
absolutely.
Let me air it and we'll see how it goes. The thing is, I think Miranda is... I'll meet you a quarter of the way to where you are because I think she's her own worst enemy in this way. She is a woman who exudes personal strength, and often those people, you know, the people around them will go, well, this person doesn't need my support.
They've got their own coping mechanisms and will leave those to run their course.
She's strong enough to weather the storm, and it's like she is your fucking friend.
Well, the real display of strength for her now would be to say, I need you guys. Because even if you think about in Mexico when she gets absolutely fucking poleaxed for not having a bikini wax by Samantha.
Samantha puts her on such an intense blast that Cyclops from the X-Men is jealous.
And it's obvious that Miranda is going through something because she immediately takes the information that's being thrown at her and, you know, refers it to the demise of her marriage. So it's like, wow, you are still reeling from this. Like, anything that we say to you, I mean, there's quite a specific material attack on the way she looks, but it's like, she goes, oh, so this is why my marriage fell apart? She walks away. Carrie, Queen fucking bee, goes, hey, I think we should go for dinner at the restaurant tonight.
Single most fucked moment in the film, which is by no means like a glossary of how to behave as a human. The film is bad. That is a rare moment that is just a cut above everything in terms of the psychopathy.
No one goes after Miranda, presumably who's going to, weight down her swimming costume and pumps and walk into the fucking sea. It's like, hey, we should go out.
You know what? I'm ready for us to go to dinner together. It is insane. It's nuts. For no one to stop that making it into the film. Oh, my God.
But they had a very wide berth. They were given a lot of rope. No one was quality controlling this because...
I was about to say the horses bolted, and then I remembered that everyone used to make fun of Sarah Jessica Parker for looking like a horse. Do you remember that period of time?
Yeah.
It was mean, wasn't it?
They'd always say she had a horse face. Funny story from Chris Parker of the Male Gaze fame about when he noticed all of the guys in his class were putting pictures of sexy women underneath the lids of their desk. And so in a panic to try and fit in with the straight guys, he put a picture of Sarah Jessica. This is like prime Sex and the City, is a picture of Sarah Jessica Parker, which is such a funny panic move. It's not that she's not beautiful, but it's just that she does not fit the teenage boy mold. It's like she's her beauty is not, characterized in the way that teenage boys are doing performative arousal and masculinity.
That's some funny shit. The approximation of tried to fit it. Like, oh, this is in the ballpark. I'm pretty sure I've nailed it. It's like, no, dude, you've not. I'm sorry to tell you.
Oh, man. I feel like we got into some stuff today.
You did right. I think we're in a good zone. Give it a second.
You got more?
I want to ask you a question.
I will answer so honestly.
What do you think Senor Grande will do if he finds the USB key before Steve?
Oh.
He is the one person inside of this whole operation who might know what to do with it.
He's going to put it into his computer.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to open up the folder that contains the files on the USB. He's going to see 100 BC. BTC. He's going to be like, He's going to open up one of them. It's going to be a representation of a Bitcoin in a language or, piece of visual imagery that he doesn't understand. He's going to drag it to his trash can. He's going to open up the second Bitcoin. Same thing. He's never going to open them all at once. He's going to do it individually to 100 Bitcoins until he drags them into the trash. He right clicks on trash. He's got his finger on empty trash.
Yeah.
Steve comes in.
Yeah.
Senor Grande says, Steve, I found your USB. Someone had loaded it up with shit. So don't worry, I've cleared it for you. You hear the sound of paper scrunching up. The universal noise for empty trash can. And Steve runs towards Big as all of the Bitcoin is wiped from the USB.
Oh my God. What a good adventure. Why wasn't that an episode of Sex and the City?
It's impossible to say. Mr. Big has to be one of the stupidest motherfuckers I've met in my entire fucking life.
You're being a lyricist.
No, it's nothing to do with his literacy. It's everything to do with all around it. And to be honest, I feel like that moment is why Mr. Big starts, or Senor Grande starts a book full of harebrained get-rich-quick schemes.
Oh, he's trying to atone?
It's all in service of helping Steve.
Fair enough. Who could blame him?
I'm so sorry, Steve.
Yeah, he's gone a bit mad. I'll fix this.
Don't worry. I'm a businessman.
I will fix this. He is so underwater.
While Steve is on Mr. Big's computer, just frantically trying to figure out how to, if you can recover recently lost items from a trash can.
Yeah.
Mr. Big has opened his book and he's just sketching all sorts of fucking ideas in there. And the first one, it's half keyboard, half flute.
How does that work?
It's a flute board.
So
you blow into it, and however hard you blow.
Oh, do you mean keyboard, the instrument?
Yeah.
That's an instrument that exists already, and I think it's called a melodiphone.
Not like this.
Or something.
You blow into the flute, and there are different chambers through which the air travels, and it hits different, like you have no control over what notes are being played. You just blow into it and your wind goes wherever it goes.
That's cool. Invite an element of chaos to your musical theory.
Absolutely. That's the problem with Mr. Big's ideas. They're all underpinned by chaos theory.
Yeah.
A theory he does not understand.
Check it out. A wristwatch that is actually a random number generator. So you look at your arm to see what the time is, and it tells you it's 72 past 1.
Oh, I'm late. He runs
Maybe?
out of a window of his building.
Yeah, man, and he's high up. He can't fly, or at least he couldn't, were it not for his famous invention.
A cape made of taxidermied birds.
Check it out. Here's the theory. What can fly? Birds. What's awesome? Taxidermy. Put it together, taxidermy birds. The theory goes that the birds would retain their gift of flight and be able to sort of imbue you with their powers if you wear them like a jetpack. But the critical thing is, Big has paid no attention to why birds fly, just that they do. There's a lot of physics involved to it. You got flap wings. You can't just tape a bunch of birds together and hope for the best.
Do you know
as you plummet
there
to
is
your
return
death.
on investment here for us, because the further we plummet into Sex and the City, the stronger the ties between Sex and the City and Sex and the City 2 grow.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, in doing that, we have achieved something. There is a lot of story untold off the screen, on the in the margins.
Sex and the City 1.5.
Yeah.
We need to flesh that out a little more. Build that bridge to connect the two.
That's as good a place as any to leave it. If you're listening to this and you live in Sydney, please come along and check out my live show. It's called I Was Part of the Problem Before. We were talking about it. It's on at Giant Dwarf on May 4th, Saturday, May 4th and Sunday, May 5th. And then the New Zealand Comedy Festival is happening right after that. And Tim, you're doing your talk show.
Yes, I am. Space Couch, ladies and gentlemen, a live comedy chat show with Disaster Radio, a musician who I've loved for like 10 years. I've been a big fan of his.
Disaster Radio on Spotify?
Yeah, bro, you better believe it. He is also eyeliner. Anyway, go to littleempirepodcasts.com/live and you get details on all these shows and more. Everyone has got a thing on the thing.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you sooner than either of us would care to admit.
It's very true and highly devastating. Good luck out there, everyone.
We just have a good rhythm together, you know. He sort of feels me out, I feel him out, and we go for it.